Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. With me, my good friend and special guest, Dr. Friday with Dr. Friday's Tax and Financial Services in Brentwood, Tennessee. She's a tax expert for individuals and small business owners and has been doing my taxes, payroll, and everything for close to 20 years now. So,
yeah.
Yes,
I was so young when we met.
So young. Yes, it was right out of high school, I think.
Right, you know? Exactly. It's amazing.
So this is one of the things when it comes to taxes, and this is one of the areas we've been talking about. Oh, you know what? First, I'm going to do this. First 10 callers.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure I got that out there.
Yeah, you forgot.
First 10 callers, because we want to do tax planning. One of the parts with that, with a comprehensive financial plan, includes, of course, the tax planning piece.
Absolutely.
So, and even the potential for estate planning. So we can, I can arrange to have an estate planning attorney attend the meeting and meet with you and talk to you about your wills and trusts and that.
That's important. I mean, seriously, how many people walk in my office, go ahead and finish your thing, and I'll share a story.
Well, this is one of the things that and the same thing with tax planning, having Dr. Friday come in and meet with you and go over your taxes and talk about tax strategies, a way to, both for the filing of your taxes for this year possibly, and then also for talking about tax planning and ways to minimize taxes, Roth conversions, things like that we work on together. So comprehensive plan, it's everything. We look at your income, your expenses, your assets, your liabilities. We apply inflation to your numbers. We look at the tax implications, of course, the rate of return on your investments, all of that. It's an investment analysis. We look at what you have now as far as your investments go, and what we can show you what the 1, 3, 5, 10 years, the last 1, 3, 5, 10 years, what your returns have been, what your risk is there, your standard deviation. Show all that with you, and then show you ways to improve upon it. So I can show you your financial future, and I can show you ways to improve your financial future. All of that for the first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by. She'll get your information. She'll send you out a little questionnaire to fill out and a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me so that we can do that work for you. And whether it's 1 visit, 2 visits, 3 visits, whatever it takes, no charge, I'm going to give you a plan that you can use. Why would we do this? Because there's a number of reasons. Of course, we want to help, but another is, of course, that's right. For the first 10 callers, when you do call and you come in, 7 Steps of Financial Freedom and Retirement, I'll give you a copy of my book when you come to see me.
People always
why
ask
do we
that.
do this?
Why do you
This is
do
one
it?
of those areas.
Why do you do
Sure.
it? You're a nice guy?
Yeah, I am a nice guy. But beyond that, in addition to being a nice guy, I know that from experience. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and I know from experience the kinds of things. I see people coming in all the time, and I look at their strategies, and I know I can improve their situation. Right. And when I do that, when I show them ways that they can improve the returns, we can reduce their volatility, we can accomplish their financial goals, maintain a standard of living, quality of life, do all that, guess what? They want to become clients. It's natural, right? We do what's in our best interest, and this is one of the areas too. I'm a fiduciary. I act in the best interest of my clients. That's a legal standard to which I'm held, right? And this is one of the things I find, that people are going to act in their best interest. We all do, right? As we should. So if you find something that's going to be better for you, naturally you're going to want to take advantage of that, and that's been my experience, and it's why I continue to do it.
Yeah. And that's a good one. And the fact is, I mean, both of us do a lot of work with individuals. The fact is, if I can stop someone from making the mistake, and in the long run, obviously, yes, Dr. Friday saved me this or whatever, it's going to turn it back. And, do a good favor for one person, it turns about fair play, I guess you would say. But I've always found, I take so many phone calls a day, and most of them are not my clients. And to be quite honest, they may become my clients many, many times because I've told them solid advice. Do this, go check this. Even go to your own tax person and ask them this question, because if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers that you need, and those are going to save you tax dollars normally.
And that's one thing. Every year we find mistakes. Every year we find errors, whether it's 1099s. And so many times when clients come in and I look at, we review tax returns, it's another area. I'm looking to pick up on errors that are made. If we find mistakes, we want to fix those. We can amend a return. Very inexpensive to amend a return and still capture those dollars. Making sure also that errors aren't made. I can't tell you how many times someone's come in and they didn't take that required minimum distribution.
I had one just the other day.
Subject to a 50% penalty. Sometimes we've seen that happen over a 2-3 year period when someone comes in for the first time, and I look at their returns and I'm like, whoa. We can fix that, okay? We can, again, any time that we've run into that, we've been able to both correct the situation, send a letter to the IRS with the corrected returns taken care of, and been able to have so far.
Knock on wood. So far, we've been able to get the penalties.
The IRS has been real good. When you catch the problem, they're more likely to waive penalties and interest than if they catch the problem.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that we do as well. All right, we got another caller, and this is Sherry. Sherry, welcome to the Retirement Report.
Hello.
How are you today? How can we help?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
My husband's working and drawing Social Security, and our Social Security is being taxed. Have they raised that amount you can make on the new Trump plan?
They did not. This is one of the areas. It's a great question, by the way. This was set up, by the way, it goes back to the late 80s is when it was passing a law, and Bush Sr., when the first Bush president, that's when that was implemented as far as the taxation on 50% of your benefits. And just so you know, it's not just Republicans, Democrats, and under President Clinton, we also had the same thing. That's when the 85% threshold came in.
I can give you a little bit.
It's never changed, though, in that time.
I can give you a little bit good news, though.
Yes. Okay, go for it.
Because the standard deduction went up.
Well, there's that.
So you're probably going to see a little less of it taxed, possibly, or your total income coming down for him. I'm assuming the reason he's working at that rate and drawing Social Security is because that's what you guys need to live off of. It's not beneficial to turn it off and let him work and then turn it back on at 70 or whatever,
How
right?
many? Yeah, and he's over 66 or 60.
He's 67 years old.
Yeah. Okay. So he's past full retirement age, and therefore, he's not going to lose any of the benefit as he might if he were under that age. But the taxation piece, as Dr. Friday was saying, the caps have not changed.
No.
Haven't changed since they were first implemented.
Back
whatever
in the
that
80s,
is,
you
like
said.
20, 30 years ago. So that piece hasn't changed, and it's too bad because you're right. More and more people are then being pulled into that, aren't they? Because
It's means
inflation, the
testing.
wages are growing. Other things, well, wages.
Well, I think it's
Technically.
unfair that anybody gets taxed on their Social Security because we've already paid that money in and been taxed
I have
before.
said that
It's
100
like double
times.
taxation. We should be able to make what we want when we get older.
This is
I
one of
totally
those
agree.
areas. I agree too. And it's not only is it the taxation, we call it means testing, and this is basically a way that the government has of reducing your Social Security benefits without technically saying we're going to cut the pay. What we'll do, in fact,
We'll
we'll
just
just
tax
tax you and take it back that way. And here's another, when it comes to your Medicare, Medicare Part B
thing.
and
She
Part
probably
D
pays more.
premiums. An example would be Medicare Part B is going up. So that you've got a cost of living increase of 2% on your Social Security for 2018, but then they increase the cost of the Part B premium. So basically, they take it back that way. So here again, the government is at work in ways to reduce those Social Security benefits. In particular, the more money you make, the more they're going to find ways to get that back with regard to either taxes or higher premiums on your Medicare.
Middle class.
Well, we're not in a high income bracket, so it doesn't hurt us as bad as it does a lot of people.
And
You're
there you
paying
go.
tax on
And
your
the
Social
new-
Security. You're still getting hit.
And the new tax cuts, as Dr. Friday said, for 2018, you're going to have a higher standard deduction. You're going to have lower tax brackets.
It'll
So
be
at
a little
least
better.
even though the benefits are going to be taxed at that same caps, the amount that you're going to pay in taxes is going to be less.
Well, without the working income, we would be left just barely getting by. We keep
There you
working so that we can continue to do things we enjoy.
Yeah,
There you go.
I agree. It's
Well
good man.
worth it. Well worth it. And a lot of clients that I have continue to work. Maybe not different ones, different amounts. Maybe they work less, maybe they work fewer hours, and some they just love it. They just enjoy their
keeps
work.
them healthy.
I fall into that. I love working. I don't want to.
Keeps them healthy.
Don't ever want to just
Well, it
retire and
keeps you
sit around.
healthy and strong.
You
There
are
you
right.
go. Keeps your mind
Absolutely.
and
I
mentally
like
sharp.
Sherry. She
All
thinks
good
like
stuff.
I do.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks.
you have a good day. This is one of the areas when it comes to retirement, and a lot of times I've got people all the time that say, well, I'm going to retire, and they may be retiring a little early, maybe 62, maybe even in their 50s. Well, when they say retire, they simply mean they're going to stop doing what they're currently doing.
Exactly.
They're going to still
had a
do.
guy walk in and say the same thing, I've retired, but then he started his own business, right?
there you
So
go.
he wasn't really retired, just that he was done doing the first phase, and now he's on to a second phase, and making a very good living, which he didn't expect necessarily. And the problem with that is, as long as you're not drawing Social Security at the early age where you have to start paying back $1 to every $2 you earn over the threshold, that's not a problem as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, and I understand why people do it sometimes, because sometimes it is your only guarantee you have, especially if you go into self-employment. Sometimes we're on a roller coaster ride, and one month you make money, the next month you spent more than you made. So
it's finding, it's finding what works for you. And this is, when we talk about doing planning, I mean, I get into the numbers and I talk about, of course, the finances, because that's a big part, right? That's how you're going to fuel that. That's how you're going to have the fun money, let's say, making sure you get the money to enjoy life. And not just, when I talk about maintaining your standard of living, we start there, but then, you know, almost invariably we get into things like, well, what do you want to do in retirement? What kind of
The grandbabies, they're very expensive.
what kind of, yeah, maybe it's gifting, maybe it's helping with college education, maybe it's traveling, you know, whatever
Right.
it might be. It's making sure that you've got sufficient funds in there to take care of that, no matter what happens in the market, that you're able to maintain that income stream that you need. And there's ways to do
And
that
don't freak out.
when it comes to planning. Okay, planning makes sure that you're going to have the income you need to attain and maintain your standard of living, quality of life, no matter how long you live.
Right.
That's what we do when we, you know, when I meet with clients. That's what I do with all my clients, in fact. And you know, maybe you'll be one of those. But first, we're going to we'll throw that out there again, by the way, before we go off air. But first, we're going to take a break. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.
Business owners, are you doing your own bookkeeping? G'day, I'm Dr. Friday. I can save